So like Nam said, my name is Eric. I graduated from Cal Poly in December of 2018 with a bachelor's in biomedical engineering. To this day, I think I'm still the top trivia winner in Front Porch, and no one can check me on that. And like Nam said, I was too involved with Front Porch probably. Starting in spring quarter of 2015, I would be there pretty much every day to the point where I lived at the Front Porch house. I was actually probably part of the first group that actually lived there. And to this day, even as an alumni, I am still involved, probably too much. So, when I was asked to share how Front Porch impacted my life and continues to impact it now to what I call baby adulthood, I was at a loss because deep down, Front Porch truly was my college experience, and it is still my life today. Thinking of people I've met, the relationships I fostered, the memories I have in that building are more than just a few snippets and stories. They were my life. It was a space that escaped the walls of the building and bled into every facet of my life and still radiates it through it today. I first came to Front Porch a scared freshman, afraid Joel was going to kick me out because I didn't belong. He loves that I tell that story. I had just lost my sense of identity quitting the Cal Poly football team and was welcomed with open arms and embraced, not as an other, but as a friend immediately. I was embraced as me, and I was able to embrace others as they were. And through those exchanges, I was able to test my beliefs in the world, to search with others, to sit in disbelief and wonder. I learned to grieve the loss of a friend. I learned to embrace the absurdity of life. I learned to give my everything, to give my time. I learned what it was like to look at the same world through a different lens and still see the same thing. I learned to find the small, quiet times to see the true beauty in the mundane. And I learned to drink coffee. By myself, usually, with a friend most often, with a stranger, with someone I fell in love with. But mostly, I learned to say, I don't know. About the world, about myself, about everything. At a fundraising dinner back when I was a student serving the dinner, and when we used to actually host these at Front Porch, if you can believe that or not, a professor, I think it was actually Keith Humphreys, gave a speech that said, Front Porch offers students a place to deal with the biggest stresses in their life at the time. And that was, quote, I wish I could go back to when the biggest stresses of my life were midterms and finals. And all of you laughed, and I smirked because I was 20 and I knew everything that was going on in the world. But I truly, truly miss being able to have a community like that. I actually spoke at that dinner, and I told a story that was brought back. I actually scribbled this part in right now. The memory that was brought back, when I finished my time with Cal Poly football, I was very lost, went through a very difficult time, and I feel like that's a common thing for students, that going through the hardest point in their life. And for me, Front Porch was the anchor. And it was always an ebb and flow, ups and downs. And there was one night I was serving, I think it was the first dinner, it was back when we used to do the tri-tip sandwiches. And I was standing outside and Joel reached his arm around me. He had no idea what I was feeling at the time. He had no real idea what I was thinking. And he put his arm around me and said, hey, I'm really glad you're here. And he says that to me tonight. He says that to me every time. But he didn't know how deep that would impact me, that I'm glad you're here tonight. And I think about that almost every day. I truly, deep, deep, deep down miss when my life was just worrying about midterms and finals. I wish I could come in on a perfect Central Coast day, grab a cup of coffee, see all my friends who lived in the same small town going through the exact same thing that I was going through, sit in Dom's office, catch up with her, ask how she was doing, just procrastinate, really. That's really all it was. But I get to do so much more now because of what I learned here. I miss how easy community was here. But because of that, I know how important it is to foster the community I keep now. I remember something about Front Porch every day. A conversation, an event, a lunch, a camping trip, a porch church, an after-dinner discussion. I miss how easy it was to have this. But I know it's still there, and it will always be in me. One last thought before I go. one thing that made me want to keep coming back to Front Porch when I first came here was the definition of porch that I saw. It was on the TV in the main room, and it was something along the lines of a church not being a building a group of people meet in, but it's about conversing with community. And as a non-religious person, it really struck me that that's what Front Porch was. And that's what Front Porch truly is. It's meeting in community. It's not a building. It's this room of people. Front Porch is not the building next to campus. It's the lived experiences. It's the community that we foster. So as much as I can wish I could go back to Front Porch, it's still in me today. And it's who I am today. Thank you very much.